My name is Mark Donnigan. These 5 traits are kind of at the foundation, if you will, of often why someone is high performing and lasts a long time, builds a great career, does something really awesome, and someone who might be every bit as good but isn't, able to impact the business. Where is the market going? How is the market evolving? How is the business changing? What are the macro trends and the micro trends, that are impacting us as a business? What's coming down the road? Business is rocking today. Number one, business strategy is just critical. In fact, the CMO role, in my personal experiences, is that I found that I think about 50% of my time. Now, I work as a virtual CMO, so I come into companies, I work with a couple at a time, and yes, I'm always being engaged to to advise on marketing, help build the team, kind of do your classical marketing activities. But I'll tell you, I have one client that I'll bet you 60 or 70% of our one-on-one time that I spend with the operational executive is strategy. It's talking about the market. It's talking about the business. It's not talking about marketing at all. And yet it is marketing, because that is then going to inform what you do. The second trait is you have to know your ecosystem. Have to know your ecosystem. Now, ecosystem, some of the listeners may be going, ecosystem, if you want to think of it as industry, that's okay. I really prefer ecosystem, because ecosystem is the connected whole of all of the parties and all of the partners that we may interact to, not just our customer, but it can be, nowadays there's so much co-opetition that happens in many, many industries. So understanding, those that are maybe one day we're competing directly with them, but the next day, we're actually sort of arm in arm, building something in the market. The third trait, this leads very nicely into a high-performing CMO understands sales. They understand the buyer's journey. They understand the customer. Now, this is where really we start to get practical in terms of the marketing tactics and, how marketing is being executed. Because there is just so much. I see nowadays, I would say by and large, I see great marketing everywhere. And here's what I mean by that comment is the images are awesome. The messaging is on point. It's creative. They're doing creative things. They're engaging. Like, it makes me want to stop and click the ad, or it makes me want to, attend the webinar, or at least sign up for it. So the point is that the execution of marketing today in really any organization that is of any size at all is more than sufficient. So where there's a quote failure of marketing, it's not because, well, geez, it's like my 12-year-old could have done better than that. That's not the issue. The issue is that very, very often they don't understand the buyer's journey. And they're just not connecting. And I don't mean they don't understand that, the buyer's not on Facebook and they have a Facebook strategy. Yes, that can be a problem, of course. But you see this on LinkedIn, where there's just messaging that is just great messaging, but it's just out of sync with how the buyer's actually thinking, or who the buyer is. Now, this can be somewhat sort of, you can use the word persona. I'm intentionally avoiding persona, because the idea that there's a person named, Jim and Sue who, who act in a certain way, and that we're going to create a journey around that, is just not the way the world works today. Digital has just absolutely blown that up. Digital meaning, digital transformation, digital marketing. I heard someone describe it as dark social, and I was like, what's dark social? And he's like, Well, that's like when somebody is in a group for CIOs, some forum that they're a member of, and all of a sudden another member just starts talking about a product or company. There's no attribution. There's no way to track it. There's nothing that vendor did. And yet here you've got a conversation going on about maybe your brand or someone else's, your product, someone else's, completely untrackable. It's like dark social. And I went, that's happening everywhere, because that used to be the water cooler, or it used to be the trade show aisle. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you went to trade shows mostly to rub shoulders with your peers. Hey, what are you guys doing? Hey, we're looking at this solution. What do you think? Hey, and it was that. And then you came back and you told your boss, hey, I think we should look at these guys. I heard so-and-so's using them, right? Now we do that online. So you have to understand sales. You really need to know the buyer's journey. And number 4, they're revenue driven. So this may be obvious, but it is still amazing to me how much tension there is between the head of marketing and the head of sales, or the marketing team and the sales team. And it's sort of like, hey, marketing hit their, look at all the MQLs we threw over the wall. Too bad you guys couldn't close them. That is, if that, of course, no one ever says that, but you can go in so many organizations and it takes like 10 minutes to realize, like, it's not said. No one's ever said they're written those words down, but it is known plainly. There's this war, right? And that is wrong. Everyone today is in sales. Number 5 trait is, you have to have great executive relationships. This is, and this is universal, of course. It's not just for the CMO, but we're talking about marketers. So you have to have great executive relationships, because if that marketer is only reporting, if it's kind of a one-way conversation of the CEO down to the CMO, kind of in this boss, employee type relationship, where it's kind of like you're reporting, okay, here's how we did, here's the status of this campaign, here's what's happening here. And it's kind of just one way reporting. It's just, there's going to be no strength there. There's not going to be any real ability to be a partner in growing the business. And this is why everything combines, because it's hard to have a good executive relationship if you're not bringing much to the other executives around you. And so this is why being a strategist, understanding the ecosystem, are critical tools. Because let me tell you, you sit down with the CRO, the head of sales, as the CMO, and you say, hey, I want to share with you something I just heard. I was talking to so-and-so and, at this, and boy, I found this really interesting. I wonder if we should be thinking about that. And the CRO is like, light bulb moment, like, wow, that connects. Wow, that's amazing. Oh, thank you. Now there's a value exchange there, right? And this doesn't then just kind of devolve into a finger pointing of, hey, we sent you all the leads. How come your guys can't close them? Well, they're junk. Well, that's, it's just finger pointing back and forth, right? So you have to have great executive relationships, starting with your boss, the CEO, as the CMO, but I would say equally with your peer in sales, whether that's a VP of sales title, CRO, whatever the title is, but whoever's heading up sales, very, very important.